Syrup dripping from his fake robe. Who did he see when he heard who was there? Now it seems that he should.
All right, everybody, welcome out to the Log Room Guys Craft Beer Show. It is Tuesday, November the 8th, 2022. Jersey Johnny coming at you. With me, as always, is none other than Mr. Beer Samurai. Say hello, sir.
Hey, folks. What are my glasses still on? I don't need the glasses.
I don't know. What are you eating?
Munster cheese.
Munster cheese. Funny, I actually had Munster cheese on my sandwich with lunch today.
I had it in an omelet today with actually it was for tot. I put it in the oven.
There you go.
With mushrooms and bacon.
Very nice. Very nice. You would think that it would be, National Munster Cheese Day.
Nope.
No, not at all.
No. Today is National Shot Day.
Today's National Shot Day, so
You gonna
happy
do a
National
show?
Shot Day.
You gonna
I
do a
am
show?
not. I was going crazy, didn't get it together, but I'll tell you what I'll do.
What are you gonna do? You gonna take a swig?
I will take a swig with you.
That'll be close.
All right.
What are we gonna toast?
Why don't we toast?
Oh, and what are you drinking there?
This
You've
is
drank this before.
Balcones. It's my bottle of.
There it is.
I've worked it pretty well so far. So, but
There we go. I just got it straight up JMO.
JMO. All right. So, this is good bourbon, so I'm not going to take a whole shot of it. I'm just going to take a nice swig of it, just to
So we
coat the palate, as they say.
You need to toast something when you do it.
I know. So let's toast.
Remember, I told you why I'm doing JMO.
Fine. Go for it.
So we'll do that. So Jesse Garrity, his family owned a bar called Poor Henry's. Poor Henry's, unfortunately, was a casualty of
The pandemic.
COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And the pandemic, the shutdown. And anytime I went in there, I could not leave that bar without doing a shot of JMO first with Jesse. So to Jesse,
cheers, Jesse.
Stay on your feet. Hope to see you soon, buddy.
Absolutely. That's good stuff. I'd have preferred it in a glass. Actually, I'd prefer it over rock sipping it right now, but good enough. It'll do. So happy National Shot Day, everybody. It's also, I hear drink wise, it's also National Harvey Wallbanger Day, right?
Harvey Wallbanger, and John was bartender, so John knows what a Harvey Wallbanger is.
Mm-hmm. That's when you take a guy named Harvey and you just bang him
against the wall.
Exactly.
Until the neighbors call the cops.
Exactly. Harvey Wallbanger is a screwdriver with Galliano.
Galliano. That tall, skinny bottle.
So it's an Italian screwdriver,
pretty much.
Harvey Wallbanger, right?
So then Galliano's that bottle that no matter what bar you go into,
doesn't fit.
You can pick it. You can pick it right out because it's the tallest thing in the bar.
It's about that big. Like one finger. It's about that big.
Can you move your fingers a little to one side or the other? That's a little disturbing. Thank you. There you go.
It's about that big. There you go. All right. Anyway, it's been a good week so far. I voted. Yeah, I got my sticker.
Got your sticker?
I didn't put it on.
It's bigger than another sticker.
Bigger this year. I did get another sticker though. Somebody handed me this one too.
That's a regular occurrence.
I was like, but I says you didn't have to hand me this to let me know that. I told him that.
And people listening to the podcast, no, watch the show if you want to.
Watch the show, yeah. If you want to know what that was, turn the show on Facebook or our YouTube channel at 4 minutes into this show. There you go. So, anyway, all right. I want to drink a beer. Let's get our guests on.
I want to drink a lot of beer. I've had a rough day at work, and I need to get some. The shot helped take a little bit of the edge off, but
there you go.
This show's about beer.
Yes, it is.
And whiskey, you have to make beer first before you make whiskey.
This is very true. This is very true.
So, but we
that many times.
Yes, we have. So, but let's start drinking beer. We usually don't just start drinking our beer until we introduce the guests.
So let's introduce the guests. Let's bring them on right now. Welcome to the show, Chris Alepa and McLain. Chris is the owner, and McLain is the brewer at Five Dimes Brewery in Westwood, New Jersey.
I've been there. Thanks for having us.
I have to adjust this banner one time. Hold on.
You do what then? What are you doing?
Hold on.
He's doing something. He's doing some
you'll
technical
see.
wizardry down there in the background. I don't know.
There we go. That's better. Now let's put it back up. There we go.
Oh, thank you.
There we go.
Had to get McLain on the.
Yeah, you got to get McLain on there.
On the, on the-
McLain's like Madonna and Adele. He's a big
Hey.
superstar, so he does not need a last name.
He doesn't know last name. No, like
Nope.
Cher.
It's just McLain.
That's it. Right.
It's easier that way.
Exactly. Michelangelo. Okay,
Oh,
he's
yeah,
the-
that's a
there you
good
go.
one.
That's a good one. Well, because he's the maestro of beer at the brewery. So there you go.
There we go.
All right.
Maestro.
The artiste.
Exactly. How you guys doing tonight?
Better now, thanks.
Yeah.
There you go. What are you guys drinking tonight at the moment? Assuming you are drinking.
I have this is one of our. It's called the Sunny Day. It's our American IPA.
Okay, fair enough.
Nice, easy
I
drinking IPA.
think I had that when I was there. That's a very yummy IPA. I like that.
Fair enough.
I'm drinking water because I'm off the clock.
You're off the clock. There you go.
You only drink on the clock. What a job.
Well,
Stop. Somebody's got to do it, right?
somebody's got to
Yeah.
do it, right? Somebody's got to do it. What are you drinking, Samurai?
Not only am I going with all lagers for a change, they're all Czech.
Is that a shame? Or is that a problem? Or is that
No, I'm loving it. So the first thing I'm starting off with is Schilling's Alexander. They're Czech Pilsner. I love the fact that you can get this beer in Jersey now, that I don't have to run all the way up to Littleton, New Hampshire to get it.
Exactly. Very true. Very true statement.
And of course, I'm putting it in my new favoriteest glass, my Schilling Dimple mug. This is
Nice, very nice.
yeah. I told you, John's got to get make some of these for Coastal Brew Works.
Coastal Brew Works Dimple mugs. Yeah, we got to do that.
Oh yeah, and look at this. The 16 ounce fit right in there without.
It's a beautiful thing.
It's a 20 ounce Dimple mug.
I will be drinking this lovely Pilsner that I picked up in Bergen County. It's called Pascack Pilsner. There you go.
Oh,
That's
There
beautiful beer.
you go.
Yeah.
So, I'll be having that. So cheers, gentlemen.
Bro,
Cheers.
Prost. Chins on.
Roast.
There you go.
Skull.
Let's go.
My,
I gotta go with Kampai. I'll go.
my
with
wife
Kampai.
is Norwegian, so
Mm.
for the
There you
skull. Her. Yeah.
Either that or you're from Minnesota, one of the others.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
we learned by accident that if you put Prost into Google Translate and just let it detect language, it'll detect it as, what was it, Hungarian or something like that,
I believe it was Hungarian for
or Romanian or something like that for dumbass.
dumbass. Yeah.
Yeah, Dumas.
Dumas.
Yeah.
And we're back to art again.
And we're right back to art. So there you go. But Skull, we were at it. What CBC was in Minnesota, was in Minneapolis this past May. Plenty of bars we were in. There was people, screaming Skull. So that worked.
Yeah, right.
There were no Vikings games going on at the time because it was
Oh,
May,
that'll
but
do it
still,
too.
you
Yeah.
know. But
I spent a couple of weeks there this summer, and pretty much the beer you get in Norway is a Pilsner. That's all you're getting is a Pilsner. Pretty much.
fair enough.
Good Pilsner, don't get me wrong. Good Pilsner, but
Nothing wrong with that.
that's it. No.
Nothing else, just Pilsners.
Just you know what? There was one bar that I went into, and I see on back of the Beer Samurai, the Brooklyn Brewery. And I did see a Brooklyn Brewery beer. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but they made their way over there. So
It wasn't lager. It wasn't just
it wasn't
lager.
it wasn't their lager that I know. Yeah, no.
So you're saying Minnesota is the anti-Southern California?
Well, he was in Norway.
I was in Norway.
Oh, in Norway.
It was in Norway. Yeah.
I missed that part.
You did.
Definitely the anti-Southern California
Yeah, exactly.
in many ways.
A lot of
Exactly.
Europe's like that. Yes.
Except still a lot of blondes.
Well, you know what? I'd be surprised. I thought I would see my wife is this tall blonde. That's what you would think, but no, it's not like that. It's yes, there's a handful. I think that's more Sweden. You get a lot more in Sweden.
Yes, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. You know what? We're having our beers.
Yep.
Let's kick it off with the first question we ask every new guest on the show. We'll start with Chris. What, to the best of your recollection, was the very first craft beer you ever had?
Wow. I mean, are you considering like a Sam Adams at craft beer back in the day?
Sure.
Yeah. So, oh God, I guess it would have to be like maybe a simple Sam Adams was probably the first craft beer I had. Going back 25 years or so. Then maybe not that long, maybe 20 years. Yeah. Actually, you know what? No. My brother brought something home. It was a very strong beer. I want to say it was like Shipyard or something like that.
Okay.
I remember being very strong, like, back then, 8-9%, which you didn't use, you never got anything like that 20 years ago. So I think it was Shipyard.
All right. You remember what style it was, or just it was an 8 or 9% shipyard?
8 or 9% IPA. Yep. Yep.
Sounds like a
wow.
plan.
I'm going to try to get that answer while you guys are talking. Yeah.
There you go. All right.
Well, McLain tries to remember his first.
Yeah.
What was yours, McLean?
Oh, I grew up skiing in Vermont, so Switchback and Magic Hat number 9 apricot.
Mhm.
Yeah, great gateway beer.
Gateway beer. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Switchback. So Switchback was first, or Magic Hat?
Oh,
number 9 was-
Switchback. We'll say Switchback first, but you can only get it on draft. And
Mhm.
I was too
Oh,
young
what a
to-
shame.
So I'd get a few sips off of pops, but no, I guess there was always a case of Magic Hat 9
Yeah.
when craft was still small.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go. What was the Switchback? Do you remember?
What was it?
Which Switchback was it? Was it the?
Oh, they only had the pail back then.
It was just a pail.
Yeah,
Mm.
back.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you're talking over 20 years now, but yeah, they only launched their variety in last 2 decades. That must have been 2010. They started branching off of the pail.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was at the first time I was at Switchback was a little after that, 2012, 2013, something like that. So it was more than just a pail.
Sure.
But cool. That's great. All right. We'll just go back and forth. Chris, what's your background? What got you into craft beer? What
Well,
got you from that 8% IPA that your brother brought back for you?
Yeah.
to
No,
owning a brewery?
I've always loved beer. Beer, some people love wine, some people love booze, and some people like whatever. I like.
Some people love it all.
Beer. I like. Don't get me wrong. I've had my share of shots over the years too, but I always
Sure.
loved beer. And it came to a point where I was home brewing. I can't say I was the best home brewer. But I was home brewing.
Can I say you were the best homebrewer?
No, you sure can. You can. And I know my limitations too. So anyway, I knew that I wanted to put this together. I had an idea many years ago to do this. I talked to a guy in the middle of Westwood who owned the Five Dime there, and I said, "Listen, if it ever comes to be, Steve, let me know. I think this would be. I have a great idea for this place. I think this would be great for a brewery." He's like, "Okay, I'll keep that in mind."
Mhm.
And then I get a phone call, I don't know, maybe 4 years later. He's like, "Yeah, Chris, I'm ready." I'm like, "What are you ready for? What do you want to do? Want your beer? Want to talk about your band? What do you want to do?" He's like, "I think I'm ready to sell." I'm like, "All right." So we sat. The next day we talked, and within a week we came to an agreement. We shook hands and we worked it out. And then that was the easy part. The hard part was obviously making the town allow us to do what we want to do. And
Sure.
so easier said than done, and very costly venture just to get to the point where we were allowed to do it. When you have to bring lawyers and this and that, and now you look at it shouldn't have been such a big fight and a struggle, because look what it's done for the town and how great it's been and how people love it. So anyway, I'm not going to talk about that stuff. So anyway,
It's the same all over.
Yeah, but the thing is,
and I've heard that story. And I've heard the stories of don't go to Jersey because just go to Pearl River right there. It's so easy. You buy yourself a license and you can do what you want. But I was set on Westwood, and I wanted to be in this community, and so we put it together. And we're a little shy of a year now. We're blessed. It's been really good. We brought McLain on, which was the greatest thing we could have ever done. We put the national search out, and I don't think we could have asked for a better brewmaster. Not even just a brewmaster, just someone with the intellect to help us make sure everything was put together correctly before we even opened. Just the setup of the brew house, every you name it, he had an answer for it based on his experience, and we lucked out on this one. So yeah, but
I like that. McLain had one ear open until you start saying nice things about it, and then all of a sudden, boop, both are on. He's like, I want to really hear this.
Hold on, I gotta hear
Yeah.
What was that again?
Are we recording?
Oh, this is indelible. This is out there. You can
there.
pull this
It's
anytime
out
you
there.
want.
Very
Exactly.
serious,
But
Chris.
Chris, you brought up something that was very important. You talk about how the town loves it, and I was up there, and we went into the brewery, and you can see how much of a part of the community you are. There was, I think, 2 separate parties going on at the same time. one upstairs in the upstairs room that you have, one downstairs is the long table. And I'm sure the pizzeria next door loved you because their pizza boxes were all over the place.
Oh my God, yes.
I mean, how many of those pizza boxes do you guys recycle a night?
I think we fill up a dumpster. On a weekend, we fill up a full dumpster. I'm not kidding. We really do.
I'm not surprised at all. As many boxes. You had 2 parties, and I think one had 6 boxes, the other had 4, so there was 10 right there, and it was a quiet. It was a quiet weekend.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can tell that you're definitely part of the community, and they love having you there. So definitely worth the effort, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about community too. I mean, I mean, craft beer in general, the whole craft beer business is about community. It's so so much of a social thing, and everybody's it's such a tight knit community. So when you have that community aspect in the community you're in, and most of the time that does hold true, unless it's a craft brewery in the middle of nowhere, right? But yeah, it's such an amazing thing, and to there's a lot of towns that get it, and have gotten it for quite some time, right? Maybe it was even just the people in charge, or part of the people in charge had experienced that, had been in other towns before where it worked, so there wasn't that brushback immediately,
or they just like beer.
Or they just like beer, right? Exactly. That's always a possibility too. But when you hear the stories about the towns, brewery, we don't want a brewery.
I don't think they were fighting. I think they wanted the brewery. I think they're afraid. And my feeling is they're afraid that someone's going to sue them. And they want to cover their butts everywhere about it. So you got to go through this whole process and get all these experts and do this and do that. And, it's a lot of money that you have to pay, which I don't think it should be that hard. You get a property, you want to put a product in there, and it's only going to help the community. And yeah, it's helped the pizza place immensely, but it's also helped all the other stores. And it's also put Westwood on the map as being a destination rather than just, we have people coming we have people from Brooklyn, we have people coming from Connecticut, people coming from all over to for the experience. They want to be a part of it. So, and it's think about all those people it's brought to the town to shop, to try all the other restaurants. So yeah, I think it's been a great thing.
And yeah, absolutely. I mean,
craft beer hobbyists like myself, we when we travel, the first thing we do is we figure out where are the breweries. Yeah. What have I not been to yet? You've got to figure that out first.
You're playing
no matter where I go.
Some of the trips you plan, some of the days you plan them around the breweries that are available to you when you're wherever you go.
What I had to do that in Italy because there weren't many around.
Right. I running a few minutes late right now because my cousin called me. He came from the city and he wanted to pick some beer up, and that was great. And he's like, "Can you come over?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know if I have time. I'll come and meet you for a beer." So I met him for a beer or two. Anyway, this is a guy that wherever he goes, he has to plot it around his around the breweries. We were having a little party up in New Hampshire, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll be there." But unfortunately, he was supposed to be there at 12. But on the way from New York to New Hampshire, he had to stop at this brewery and that brewery and this brewery. And he showed up at 1:30 in the morning. I'm like, all right, you missed but you had a great experience and a great time. So,
guarantee you one of them was Treehouse.
Those are exactly. Well,
yes.
That's the Mecca up there. Those are the best of the best up there. I love those places. But Charles and Alexander, they have to hit every brewery, and they've done it pretty much through the country. They've done it. So,
Sure.
Love it.
Sure. Yeah, Johnny does a lot of long road trips, as I do myself. And
we did 3.5 years ago. Jess and I did 50 breweries in 10 days.
That's impressive.
So, and it wasn't the only thing we did either. We did plenty of other stuff too.
Yes.
Where was that?
We went west. We went. I'll just give you the names of the towns. We went Cleveland, up through Michigan to Grand Rapids, Kalamazoo, into Indiana. We stopped in Munster. We had to go to Three Floyds, right?
Of course you did.
Through Chicago
for the death metal,
right? Up to Minneapolis, across to Green Bay, down to Sheboygan, down to Milwaukee, back down to Chicago, through Indiana, to Columbus, Indiana. We had to stop at 450 North on our way down to Louisville, Cincinnati, Canton, Pittsburgh, home.
That's impressive.
Yeah,
And you drove the whole way, huh?
drove the whole way. Yeah. So that was a good trip. 50 brews in 10 days. That was definitely good. We'll be doing another one next year. But we do. I mean, that was the last time we did a 10-day trip. They're normally 4 or 5 days. But yeah, it's same thing. Exactly. You know, we plan it. Okay, this is where we're going. These are the breweries we're hitting. These are the other things we're doing. What order should we do them in? And then we put it all together, and then that's our game plan, right? You know, that's what it is.
Google Maps is great for that.
That's a lot of fun. When we do the Great American Beer Festival, we'll take one of the days, and we always happen to start at the I forgot the name of it. It's the oldest brewery, oldest bar in Denver. We start off, put up a nice Bloody Mary first early morning.
You're not talking about Flat Rock because they closed.
Well, this was probably 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah,
so
Flat Rock. Yeah, Flat
Really?
Rock. Yeah, closed.
Okay, well, that's not going to happen again. But then after that, we would walk down the street and we hit 12, 13 breweries from early day to night. And when you can do that, it's a great experience.
Absolutely. My a buddy of mine that I went to high school with he's lived out in Denver since '93. And anytime, you get him on the phone, we're talking about beer. He's like, we've been on the phone a half an hour. 3 new breweries have just opened up since we got on the phone,
Yeah.
But there's such good liquid out in Denver.
I'll tell you what, when I was out there the last time, it was a great research for opening a brewery. You kind of see what you want, what you don't want, what you like, from a perspective of what you want it to look like, more than anything else.
Oh, yeah.
I like that. I like this. There's one thing I really liked there. I saw it in a brewery. It was a little, maybe 4-foot railroad track. And that was so cool. So I said, when I open a brewery, I want to have a railroad track for your feet that goes all the way around.
There you go.
And so we were with the help of a guy in Westwood who owns the Iron Horse. It's a restaurant bar there. He's like, yeah, I can get you that. So
Sean,
he was able to get me 28 feet of railroad track. I'm like, this is great. It's a great footrest. So you see these little things that you like and you don't like, and you kind of put it all together.
Oh yeah. Oh no, that's the great part about visiting all the breweries too, especially especially when you're building out a brewery, right? You want to, and you go in any brewery and you talk to any brewery owner. There's something in the brewery that they saw and maybe morphed a little bit. Maybe they massaged it into their own thing, but they definitely got the idea from seeing it elsewhere. Oh
yeah. Well, there's one correction. So it was Shipyard Ale. It was an ale.
It was a Shipyard Ale.
It was about 6%. So I was a little off. It was 1989.
Not for nothing. Back then, I think ABVs were a little understated. John and I have talked about Harpoon IPA was only 5.5%. It was listed like
5.5. There was definitely there's no way that thing was under.
No, that thing was a
7.
Yeah, that thing was a 7% IPA. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, Dave and I pretty much had the same thing. Like back in the mid '80s, our first craft beer foray or a little bit after that was Sam Adams Boston Lager, but then our first IPA was Harpoon IPA.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. But yeah, Shipyard was around at the time. Saranac kind of midway. Yeah. Sierra Nevada obviously was people would hey, I look what I brought back from visiting my cousin in California. This is Sierra Nevada. You got to try this stuff,
And of course, even though it's really technically not craft beer, Yuengling's always been a popular one.
Sure.
Anchor Steam.
But Anchor
Steam.
If we, I venture to say we've had people on the show from all over New England, down to Florida, Texas constantly, Missouri, Minnesota, Colorado. We've never had anybody actually on the show yet in over 2 years. We've never had anybody on the show yet from California that was originally from California. I guarantee you there's going to be so many different answers because there was decent craft out there then, more.
It started first.
It started out there first. Yeah.
Yep. Started there first.
Yeah.
And leached its way across here and launched everything else here. And then
I'd argue to say that the brew pub in Vermont, Burlington Brew Pub, might have been the first, but
Vermont Pub and Brewery, that's definitely an OG.
Dogfish was early on too, wasn't it?
Dogfish was 94.
Yeah, they were.
Opened
They,
in 94.
they
Yeah.
were the probably third wave
Gotcha.
where things really started to roll. And
Yeah.
So that's a
They're-
good wave. What wave are we now?
83, it just keeps going.
I like
No,
to think.
I think this is
we're a
still
little bit
fresh.
sooner.
I think this is still 3, actually.
Third phase. Yeah.
I think it's still 3, but
fine with
Dogfish
that.
Head was responsible for popularizing the pumpkin beer. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, they didn't make it, but they popularized it. Yes.
Yes.
So, all right. Let's McLain really quick. What? Let's shift gears to you for a second. What got you into brewing? What?
Yeah, he
where
learned
did-
you from Vermont, right?
Yeah, so I went to school in Vermont. Grew up in New Jersey, but skied. So I like to say I'm from Vermont, but nobody's originally.
I grew up in New Jersey and skied in Vermont too, but I never did say I was from Vermont.
Yeah, well, I try not to admit it when I'm up there, right?
What was your really quick side
yeah.
question? What was your go-to ski area in Vermont?
Sugar Bush?
Sugarbush. Mine was Killington. So
Yeah.
Anyway.
I got
Go
into
for
it for wine. It was a freshman year of school. Didn't know what I wanted to do.
Mhm.
And Outside Magazine every year does dream jobs, 36 dream jobs. And there's a 200-word clip on vintner, all about biodynamic farming.
Mhm.
And dropped my major, and I wanted to grow grapes. So figured out that you make wine once a year and beer year round. So I started brewing in my dorm room. I was growing grapes out of once graduating. Managed a couple vineyards. Started selling when I was 20 at the Burlington Farmers Market.
Oh wow!
If you're old enough to drink, nice.
Yeah,
You managed a couple vineyards up in Vermont.
Yeah, just vineyards. Just about 10 acres total, 14 I think in total.
Gotcha.
Plots.
No, we're not the one by the one across the street from Fiddlehead.
I was not up there. No, that's the Shelburne. Vineyard.
Shelburne. Yeah, Shelburne. Yeah.
That one had been open. Ken, he was very helpful. He was buying my grapes in essence. It was down in Vergennes.
Okay.
The Minot brothers. They didn't do anything with it, and investments didn't come through. So walked away from that. And then I had an inside scoop through Ski Family, actually. The owner of the Aspen Brewing Company, his partner was leaving, and they needed help and knew that I was into beer. So 2013, shipped out to Aspen with everything on my back. And,
that had to suck for you.
Yeah, it was probably awful.
Best shape of my life. So it wasn't a brewing gig; it was a sales gig. And I wound up, when I wasn't on the road humping kegs out of the back of a Tahoe, I was on the can line cleaning tanks. And
when you weren't on the slopes, you mean?
Yeah, well, I got my weekends, fortunately.
There you go. That's it. Yeah.
But yeah, that's how I got into it.
That's awesome. And then at that point, did you start brewing out at Aspen, or was that somewhere else?
No, I was the annoying guy who asked every question under the sun for the 2 years there.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I was sales full time, but when I wasn't working, on the road slinging beer, I'd show up before the brewer and lock the door and get the beer started. And they kind of didn't appreciate it at the time. But yeah, learned everything I could under those guys, even though I wasn't titled a brewer. Met my wife, who's from New York, upstate New York, and so we both moved east. And I wound up landing at the Half Full Brewery in Stamford, and they had a full production staff vacate. So really, it was just me on the floor for 3 months. So I went from not being a brewer to head brewer in
3 months.
Wow.
And when I got there, it looked like the place they were ready to burn it for insurance money. It was that bad. So, flipped it around for them, had some good credit for that. So that was really my foray into becoming a quote unquote brewer.
Nice.
But little training and just like we were talking about, building out bars. We look at another brewery and, want to follow what they did and see.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Inspired.
Absolutely. Sure.
I mean, we learned everything we do in beer and how we make great beer from each other,
Mm-hmm.
So I ask a lot of questions, and that's how I got to where I am.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
I love hearing stories like that. That's great, especially when they involve, things that, I was doing too, skiing and everything else. But it wasn't, Aspen. That's nice. That was nice. So Aspen, ASPEN, Aspen. Not aspirin. Aspen.
I didn't say it out loud, so
I saw you spelt. It's Aspen.
it's like I could have sworn he said aspirin.
I said Aspen. All right. You heard something.
We always
Listen,
roll the tape.
roll
back
the
on
tape
these
back.
things, 'cause we do this
Jimmy,
all the
roll
time.
it back.
He starts
Anyway.
he starts to slur and claims
Right.
to slur. So
Anyway,
Challenge
So-
flag.
how did you and Chris come together?
that was my next question. So there you go.
I know it's your next question, but you're opening your beer, so I'm taking the weight off you.
By the way, before you answer that question, I'll be drinking this right now.
Good choice.
It's another-
Wow,
Little-
the best beer, nice.
A little Five Dimes Fest beer. So there you go.
Yeah, I moved on to my second. I guess, unfortunately, we told McLain earlier on, it's ironic because I live a lot closer to you guys than John does. And I had beer, but I went through all of your beer before the show.
I saved a few because I knew we were doing it.
Well, because I also didn't know you're coming on. So I would have saved.
You
but
knew, I told you, but they were so good that you had to drink them.
I drank them. So, but what I'm drinking is I'm sticking with another. I've got another Czech. This is a Czech pale lager. It's Czech 10% from Human Robot in Fishtown.
Weren't you
It's,
just there this past Saturday?
I was there Saturday. Oh, had a sandwich from Moe's. The sandwiches.
Pose.
Pose. Like Edgar Allan.
Exactly.
Okay, so on to the question.
You care to take that?
How did you and Chris come together?
Well, sure. Well, I like I said, I put that ad out there for this national ad for a brewmaster, and we were doing some interviewing, and I thought I found a great guy, and I was about to hire a guy, and I had dinner with him the night before too. I'm like, I feel good about this. This is great, and the next day, this young guy comes in. He was working in Aspirin. He was working at Captain Lawrence, and we said, "All right, let's meet him." And we met him, and I'm like, sampled some of his beers. I'm like, "All right, I think I'm wrong. I think this might be the guy. And his knowledge. I mean, I got to tell you, obviously from this podcast, this guy's a genius."
Mm-hmm.
When I say it, I mean it. He is a genius.
McLain, time to put that up. There you go.
There you go.
And I mean it. He knows everything. If you have a question, he'll have the answer. And if not, he will get you that answer within a couple of minutes. So we lucked out. That's how we put it out there. And McLain stumbled into our life, and we couldn't have been any luckier, because I really think we got the best brewmaster out there. And I mean it, and I feel it, and we're lucky.
And John and I can both attest that you're putting out good liquid.
Yeah, this fest beer is amazing. I'm happy I opened it and sad I opened it in the same breath. So I'm happy I opened it because it's delicious. I'm sad I opened it because
It's going to be gone.
it's going to be gone. So.
You'll make it next year, right?
Right.
We did a good stock of it the first.
Well,
we knew that it was going to be a big run.
I do have to tell you, when I was at the brewery a few weeks ago, I did have like 2 or 3 of them while I was there. So it's not the first one that I'm having of this. So
Something we've said on the show a lot. It was it actually comes from one of our early guests from Rhode Island, actually, that you can always judge. You get those breweries that it's nothing but IPAs. And let's face it, an IPA is one of the easier things to make. Any flaw in your brewing process, you can hide with the hops. You cannot hide
to an extent, but yeah.
To an extent. If you're really off, no amount of hopping is going to hide that.
No.
But Pilsners, fest beers, stuff like that, there's nothing to hide behind. And Pascack, I told McLain at the before the show started, that was my favorite beer there. That is such a clean, crisp, easy drinking beer. And the fest beer was my second favorite.
Yeah.
It's just, and the fact that you guys can do these, make them taste so good, so crisp, so clean, that is your sign of having a great brewer.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, go ahead.
We've been saying it for 10 years that lagers are the trend for craft, and
Hell yeah.
it's taken 10 years to start.
It took a while, but finally, thank you.
It's finally here.
Thank you.
Yeah, people are starting to realize.
By the way, the top left hand, the top right hand looking at it, left hand not looking at it, top right hand corner of the screen. What's the name of the podcast?
Oh,
there you go. Anyway, but it's the rule of thumb, right? I mean, if you walk into a brewery, if I walk into a brewery and there's a Pilsner on the menu, that is the first beer I'm getting.
Mhm.
Because if that sucks, I'm leaving. It's my one and done, and I'm out of there. If that Pilsner is like the best thing since sliced bread, I'm not leaving that. I'm just sitting there. Anybody else wants to go to another brewery? I'll be here.
Yeah,
Come get me when
I'm running through the whole catalog.
Right, exactly. So,
like you said, that's
but
been our bread and butter, and
Yeah.
it was nice. Chris was open to it, and we're trying to figure out our draft list, and Pilsner, Pascack Pilsner, the name was there. It was, that was definitely a home run. I'm on board, and followed that up with we got to do a Mexican lager. I mean, the easy drinking. We're going into summer, and coming off of all my past experience. And that was it, something that people want to have 5 beers and not get hit with it. And and there's a term. 5% is okay now.
5% is good. Yes.
No, the Los Cinco is a fantastic beer. It's a fantastic. It really is.
I haven't had that. I haven't had it.
They had it
on back on now.
There. Yeah. Oh, is it not back on?
What, McLain? When's it coming back on?
When Fest beer is done, I guess.
Yeah, pretty soon.
Well, I'll be there a week from Friday, so we'll see if it's done or not. Then.
Yeah, I was.
I'll either have another Fest beer or I'll have the Mexican lager. So
it was on tap when we were there, but the Pilsner. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, guys.
You gonna introduce there, Chris?
Okay, this is my Nicholas. He's my 11-year-old.
My oldest is Nicholas.
There's Sophia. She's 15.
Hi, Sophia.
That's 2 of my 5 kids.
There you go.
2 of the 5. Oh, God bless you.
Yeah, that's it. And I beat it, kids.
I'm behind you. Dave and I are behind you. We only have
yeah, not together.
Okay. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
4 different pours.
Yeah, 4 different ones.
Yeah.
But what you call? Yeah, the kids are great. I was just telling, you weren't on when
we've had a bunch of kids on the show before. not as the primary guest, mind.
No. Well, I told the story to McLain before. I brought my youngest is 22, and my son, and I brought him up for when we were canning. When we were canning our double back in May, one of the batches, and we had to change the check valve in the canning line, but we poured some beer and we're just sitting there drinking it, and he looks at me, goes, takes a sip, he looks at me, he goes, Dad, we're drinking beer. I'm like, yeah. He says, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, and he says, is that normal? I says, no, we normally start earlier than this. So it's
Canning day is a special day.
It's a special day. It's a special day. But anyway,
anything to keep a cool head.
Exactly. And keep it down. But anyway, well, you got to test what you're canning, right? I mean, you got to
quality control.
You see
the
everything.
First sip has to be as good as the last.
Exactly. So, all right. So, Chris, how long did it take when you started building out? When you got everything going? Once you convinced Westwood, hey, this is what you need to do. This is what we need to do here.
Well, I would say once we got approval, once we started our move, maybe around 14 months it took us.
Okay.
Now remember, this was in the so
the middle of pandemic too.
You couldn't have asked for a worse time. We're right in the middle of COVID. The cost of everything was double. It was to find people was difficult. So it was really, really a tough time. So yeah, I would say about 14 months. I mean, I was completely wrong in my head. I thought I was going to be open by St. Patrick's Day the year before. So I was way off with the delays with the town, with the construction. I was about, from where I thought I'd be open, probably around 13 months longer than I thought I would be.
Yeah. Which
is tough. It's a strain. There's a cost to everything, you got to pay rent every single month, and even when you're not using it, it's tough. So 13 months is a long time, longer than we thought it would be. So, but I try to block all that out, we try to block it all out. So
the light at the end of the tunnel, you focus on that, you get there, you get to that point, you open up, and then you go from there. So,
wow, we opened up to this chaos. I did not expect what we expect. we had lines around the corner. It was for weeks, and
Well, you ran out of beer a couple of times too.
well, there's a reason we ran out of beer. I mean, you can say we ran out of beer because we sold so much. We did sell more than we ever thought we would, but we couldn't with the supply chain. We couldn't find any kegs. That's really what it comes down to. We
have beer in the tanks, but you couldn't.
We can't move it out of the tanks into the kegs because we had no kegs.
Which is interesting because during COVID there was extra kegs because everyone had to can, and we went into a can shortage.
Yeah.
But then we eventually found some kegs out of Canada. We couldn't find in America within our time frame. We find them in Canada. We wanted to try to find them in America. We couldn't. We find them in Canada. I'm like, okay, we ordered them. We'll at least get them. We'll get them, 30, 40 days before we open up. It'll give us time. It'll be close. It'll give us time. The shipment gets delayed at customs, U.S. Customs.
Of course.
I'm not. I mean, you couldn't. I mean, it's a joke.
You can't make this shit up.
No, I'm only laughing because I'm in logistics and I deal with customs all the time.
30 days before we release it. Well, obviously, it was 30 days. They ship back to Canada, then they ship it to us again. What did we get, McLain? Like 4 or 5 days before we opened up?
No, we got them that day.
We got them that day. Okay, so
the day you opened, maybe. We couldn't have worse. You could have got them a week later.
All right, we did a soft opening, so we had 1 weekend with the 4 beers in serving tanks, and then the weekend of the grand opening. We're hustling to get it out. I mean, now also, did we sell a lot of beer? In 10 days, when we had to pull the plug, we sold 80 barrels, and just mind-boggling. I couldn't anticipate that. I mean, the kegs are one thing, but 80 barrels out of the gate is everything.
It's pretty. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. I got to back up. I want to do one thing.
Yeah, that's insane. That's
impressive. That's awesome.
You've seen the space. It's a place that people want to be.
Absolutely.
It is a beautiful bar.
It's gorgeous.
Absolutely beautiful bar.
And then somebody walking in there, not even like thinking that they're going to want to, they want to get there. They want to have a beer. They want to try it out or whatever. But they walk into that space, they're setting up, light housekeeping there. They're settling in for the day and the night for that matter.
Well, I'll say one thing. When Carrie and I were there, we were sitting at one table because the bar was full.
And I'm not blowing smoke by any means just because you're on the show. That's absolutely true.
The bar was full, and that bar is so inviting that when spaces became available at the bar, we ran to the stools. We're like, we're sitting at the bar. This is a beautiful bar.
Oh yeah,
great, loved it, and your feet there and everything. It was just, it's a beautiful bar.
Mm-hmm.
So when the ABC came in to do our final walkthrough, they said, "Chris, do you know you built the nicest brewery in New Jersey?" I said, "Well, thank you very much."
I'll tell you one thing though.
That's going to be a big test to McLain now. No, we got the nicest brewery, they say.
That's got to make the best beer.
Some great beer, and I think we came across with that.
I don't know. If your wife's Norwegian, you should take her to Angry Eric because their bar is a Viking ship.
Angry Eric? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That is true.
And they've got a huge Viking flag on the wall behind the bar.
I love it.
And they were just on the show 3 weeks ago.
Yes.
All right. I definitely will. Angry Eric. You got it.
Angry Eric. Yeah, they're up in Newton.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably one of the few reasons to go to Newton. If not only.
It's a long ride and there's not a lot there, but it's beautiful country.
It is.
I wasn't saying that tongue in cheek. It really is nice.
It really is nice up there.
Angry Eric.
But, Angry Eric. Heidi and Eric are the owners.
Okay.
Heidi's the brewmaster, and Eric is her husband.
And the one end of the bar actually does have the dragon head.
Yeah.
I love it.
Carved dragon head.
Carved dragon head. Yeah. Absolutely.
And Eric made the bar.
Eric made the bar by his own 2 hands. Anyway,
and he's a lawyer by trade.
Exactly. Not anymore. Now he's a janitor by trade.
Janitor, carpenter, electrician, and plumber.
Exactly. All right.
So he's an owner.
Yes.
Exactly.
All right. What's coming out soon? What beers are on now? What are the flagships? What's coming out soon? Seasonals. Talk to me.
Yeah, because this is the season that Johnny and I love the beer because it's darker, maltier stuff comes out.
I love every beer from September 1st all the way through August 31st. I love it.
I'll leave it to you, McLain.
Sure.
You
Yeah,
have
well,
beer. Give it back.
You go for it.
very excited. Next week we're releasing the More Good News in can. So not darker. It's the Belgian blonde.
Nice.
Yeah, that one surprised us with how popular it was, and so excited to finally package that.
Nice.
It is December 4th, I believe, this year. I could be wrong. The town puts on Home for the Holidays, a big parade through the center of town, which
Oh,
we're
sure.
looking right at.
Sure.
So we're going to do a
The 4th or the 3rd, because it's a Saturday, right?
Saturday. Yeah.
So it's the 3rd. Yeah.
Okay, it was 4th last year. Thank you.
Yeah.
The 3rd.
Okay.
Yeah, peppermint porter for that.
Peppermint porter.
Nice.
Let's see.
I might have to go to Westwood on December 3rd.
Oh boy! All right,
Might have to
pressure's
do it.
on. Well,
But what I'll do is I'll bring you.
Good luck. Good luck finding a place to park.
Yeah, right.
exactly.
I'll park in Hillsdale and walk down. That's all.
Better off, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, due credit to my co-pilot, co-brewer Jessica. That was her pitch. So excited
Nice.
to brew that.
Very nice.
Great, excellent home brewer. So she had a great base, and we built off of that. Behind that, we had an asset, the Tatanka Brown, which when we thought we were going to open in January, that was the idea, and it was called an audible. So we haven't gotten to brew that yet, but so finally get to launch the brown and porter. So yeah, try to keep a broad spread.
When's the brown launching?
Early December, when a tap line opens up behind that.
One of Johnny's favorite styles.
One of my favorite styles. I actually we're gonna do. I was talking to Dave. I actually have probably 8 or there's no way I'm gonna do them on a show, right? But then I have like 8 or 10 browns that I've like 2 or 3 of them or 4 of them I've gotten that I have to have. They've just been like I curated them. The others are just like my favorite browns. So I think
why not do them all in one show, John? That'd be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, 10 brown ales, 10 16-ounce cans on one show.
Come on, you did 50 breweries in 10 days.
10 days, not 1 hour.
You can handle this.
What I might do is maybe we'll do this show together, Dave, and we'll split the cans.
There we go.
Then we can do that.
Then I'm in.
There you go. We'll figure it out. Anyway, and we'll do the show at 5 Dimes.
Let's do it here. We'll do it.
There you go.
Yeah, we'll do it there, and we'll get some pizza from next door.
We'll get some pizza from next door, and then the 11th brown will be the one they have on tap.
Too sweet.
John, I was wrong about what the third beer was. I thought I was getting the Tamavi. They gave me the Pulla Tamavi.
They gave you the Polo Tamavi.
Yeah,
that's the ruby one.
Yeah, that's the 12. This
Human Tamavi. Cool. Where'd you get that?
Human Robot.
Oh, cool. All right.
They do the ruby one all the time, and you don't always see the dark one. I really thought I had asked for the 13 degree, which is the true Tamavi Pivo, the black one, but the ruby one, I've got no problem drinking this. This is
cool. I'll have to search that out.
Definitely. Human Robot, like John and I, anytime we're anywhere near Philadelphia, we're going to wind up there to get some Poe's sandwiches and their beers. They just do.
That's the one you wanted, right?
That's the one I wanted. Yes. Hey, John. Look, I can still shoot off my my bow.
Your bow.
Yeah, Chris, you missed a history lesson not before the show started that we went through with a lot of stuff.
That's right. You'll fill me in.
We'll fill you in post show because when we're done, you stay on. We'll talk. For a couple minutes.
You got it. Well, I went with the one of our hazy beers. I really like our hazy beer, the Hazy Place beer.
That's another one that I did not have while I was there because I didn't know there.
If you love haze, I love hazes. I'll drink more of a lager is usually what my go-to beers. But I do love a haze in the summertime. Just something I love. So
hazy beers are good. Absolutely. I love them too. And for I'm almost finished with the fest beer, but when I do finish it, I'm gonna wrap it up with a third beer, and my third beer is gonna be this beer.
Hey, that's what I'm doing. There you go.
That looks familiar.
It's a little familiar. There you go.
I'd say that's the base of that is what got me the job when I brought them beers from my last gig was at the River Outpost up in Peekskill. Worth a visit. It's pretty cool. A little brew pub.
Sure, I know where it is. I've been there.
Oh, cool. But yeah, so I brought basic the hop schedule for that. We've since tweaked it a bit more to what I've wanted to be, and but yeah, I'm glad it's worked out.
No, I would say that's probably our biggest seller in the summertime.
Nice.
I mean, people love it. They can't get enough of it. So they love to compare it to other places. Beer guys love to talk about this beer and that beer, and they put us right up there with it. So it's a good thing. It makes. I'm proud. I'm proud. Every time I hear a positive comment, I'm proud. So I'm
you gotta love it. You gotta love it. I mean, it's like a child, right? You hear something good about your kid, you're all like,
yeah,
you're the proud. It's the prideful dad.
Wait a second, your kids can make you proud? Nah, I'm kidding.
Your kids make you proud. Shut up.
They do.
Just make sure you drink it straight from the can, like the Alchemist. Not hiding anything or anything. It's better. It's better right out of aluminum.
Better right out of aluminum. No glass is not necessary. Right out of.
Straight out of a little hole, so your nose is not involved whatsoever.
It's so much better that way.
Yeah.
All right then.
I always pour the thing.
We'll have a conversation.
Just don't put it on the air. I don't know. Really show my true colors.
Come on! You love Vermont. Come on! What are you talking about?
Oh no, I'm just saying. I don't want to see what the inside of the can looks like. I mean, I'm good at running the can line.
Yeah,
that's a true test.
I poured one of those into a glass, and what shows up in the glass, I'm sure there's stuff left in the can.
All right, let's see it.
John knows there's only one beer that I actually drink out of the can on a regular basis, and that's actually Carton's Boat beer. Usually because I'm going through so many of them that I can't be bothered to dirty another glass.
Right.
Exactly. He has the record for.
Not yet. No.
Somebody.
Someone caught and passed me. I'm 20 behind right now, but I am determined that I will take the crown back.
You will take the crown back. You're only the highest check-in on one IPA right now.
Yes, that would be a beer called Building Sandcastles,
right.
Brought to you by our sponsor, Coastal Brewworks.
Building sandcastles when you need to build a sandcastle that day. Yeah.
So the podcast came before the brewery. Then the brewery
came before the brewery, and then the brewery became the sponsor. So.
The brewery became the sponsor because John talked his business partner into it.
Yeah. Partners. Anyway, okay.
Matt didn't care one way or the other.
Oh, he didn't really care.
No.
Well, he's a producer on the show, and a part-time. I know he doesn't produce.
He's like our other producer. He hasn't done his job in how long now?
Well, he's a part-time host at least, and then the other. Yeah, exactly.
He will do that.
Exactly.
The other one's just useless now.
No, he was cruising. So.
Oh, that's a beautiful looking beer you got there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yes. What that looks like? That looks like a glass of tangerine.
Nailed it.
That was Hazy Place.
Very nice.
It's a relief to see it doesn't change color once it goes in the can.
That's a pretty beer.
It doesn't change color.
A lot of colors. A lot of colors from Hazy's.
This is delicious. I have to. Just kudos. This is very good.
Thank you. Yeah, Idaho 7, Idaho Gem. I'll give up my secret.
So Idaho.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Idaho.
Idaho.
It is. So we do like at the top of the show. We did National Shot Day. Right. We do days. Today is actually aid and a bet, or is it a bet and aid?
Yeah, for some reason it's aid. It's a bet and aid, not aid and a bet. Punster's Day. Yeah,
because it's usually aid and the bet. That's the crime is aid and the betting, right?
Aid and a bet. Mm-hmm.
But today is a bet and aid punsters. I'm trying to figure out if a bet and aid is some sort of pun within itself.
Whoever made the day just wanted to switch it up. That's all I'm gonna talk about.
I don't have 4 or 5 beers right now. You figure that out and you let me know.
I'm never gonna figure that one out.
No, I mean, you know what? I've watched a lot of Law and Order in my day, so it's definitely aiding and abetting. So.
Boom, 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 boom.
Don't. Anyway, all right. Any events coming up other than the Westwood?
We got home for the holidays
on the 3rd, right?
On the 3rd. Unfortunately, we were supposed to have a band playing on December 10th called Mini Kiss.
Really?
Really exciting. I was really excited.
The vertically challenged.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
So we had it. So it's going to be a reschedule. Unfortunately, what happened was the guy who plays Paul Stanley, who's the leader of the band,
Sure.
suffered a heart attack.
Oh,
And he's
geez.
okay.
Oh, thank God.
Okay.
And so we put it off till March, April, maybe end of February. So that's out. We have hired another band who's fantastic for that night, which will be a lot of fun.
You got to let us know when that's
There's
happening.
we just, after we just came through Oktoberfest and our Halloween activities.
Mhm.
Now it's just, we have some local bands playing on, every Saturday, some Friday. And it's a lot of fun. We have the local talent coming through the door. And I love seeing people out there drinking beer, singing, dancing, having a good time.
Mhm.
Aside from owning a brewery, aside from making some of the best beer, around, I love bringing music in.
Right,
to me, it's
absolutely
hand in hand. I just love to see people happy and singing and moving and dancing. That's it. Yeah. So until the end of the year, I want to kind of put together a Winterfest event. Nothing scheduled yet right now. But that's kind of takes us to the end of the year, besides our New Year's Eve party. We're gonna have a big New Year's Eve party.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Very nice.
And then we'll start it over again next year.
You're gonna be open late to New Year's Eve too, or are you gonna be
Yeah.
Is it gonna be black tie?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Only thing you have to really kind of dress up for is the Halloween party, which was a lot of fun. First time I dressed up in I don't know, maybe.
What'd you go as, Chris?
Well, I think I told you my wife is from Norway. So
Yes.
There's a show I used to love to watch called Vikings.
Yeah.
So I was Ragnar Lothbrok, and she was the field maiden Lagatha. So
There you
There
go.
you go.
it was a lot of fun. But the best costume was what the heck was his name? From Elf. You know the show, the movie Elf?
Yeah.
What was his name? He had a name.
Will Ferrell.
Yeah, no, Will Ferrell. He had whatever his character was.
Buddy
the elf.
Buddy the Elf. If someone came dressed as Buddy, that was the best costume. I mean,
That's great.
he had a silly smile on the whole time. It was great. That and two guys dressed as Dumb and Dumber. The guy with the tuxedos. That was great.
That's the nickname of our podcast, actually.
Yeah, exactly. We'll leave it to you to decide which is which.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it. So no, there's some good bands coming up. There's nothing, no major events going to be listed out there.
No, that's fine.
There's some great bands every weekend.
You got to let us know when mini. When
I will.
Lucas
I have people asking every day. So we had it. Unfortunately, this is what happened. So
if it's February, March, April, whenever it is, let us know. We will.
As long as it's not the middle of April, I'll be in Utah.
All right,
All right.
we got it. I'll keep that in mind when I book them.
As long as it's the early March, I'll be on a trip. We're not sure where yet, but I'll be on a trip. And then obviously
He's changed this trip's route.
We've moved it around a little bit. But yeah, and don't do it on CBC weekend, of course, in May.
All right, you got it. And
we'll be in Nashville.
And also, he's going to come out. There's one little break in the middle of Mini Kiss where he comes out and he puts on Slash's hat and he does little Guns N' Roses.
That's
nice.
So you know.
Love it.
Yeah, so I will keep you informed on that. I don't have.
Let us know.
Yeah,
definitely got to get up there for that.
Yeah, no, any the holiday celebration in Westwood on the 3rd. That's a great time. The parade and everything else. That town, it's so great every year. I haven't been in a couple of years, actually probably about 4 years, but I used to go every year. Grab the kids and go. I mean, even as they got a little older, get up there. But
no, it's a lot of fun.
It's fun.
You see,
the last time I went alone actually, but.
I find it's so it's not just Westwood. You have all the other surrounding towns,
Sure.
coming to be.
Oh yeah, right, of course.
All the different floats and antique cars and marching bands, and it's a lot of fun. It's just when you think of community, there it is. It's all right there in front of you. So
Yep.
now they have the opportunity to watch from the rooftop and check it all out and have a beer in their hand too, which is nice.
Great. That's beautiful space up on the rooftop too.
Yeah,
it really, really is.
Hey,
John. Yes.
I'm thinking live cast.
Ooh, you want to do that?
Live show from
on the 3rd?
Yeah.
On December 3rd?
We're not going to have the room. I can tell you what. Man, you're going to be fighting to get some space.
We'll have to figure that out. That's a possibility.
We might have to work. We have to do one the following Saturday too,
Do we have to do one the following Saturday?
The following Saturday, the 10th.
Why were you doing that one?
I'm going to let you figure out why we have to do one the following Saturday, the 10th.
That wouldn't be in.
I'm going to let you figure that out.
Is that one Bloomingdale? No. Okay. We'll figure that out later.
You can't figure it out? It's National Lager Day.
Oh, God. Yeah, we did it last year.
Ooh.
And the thing is, last year, it was such a beautiful, beautiful day out. We
It
were
was on a Friday last year, and it was gorgeous.
And we were both. I was off of work that day for some strange reason, and we were outside without. We left our jackets on the picnic tables at Source Brewing, and just wandered around the grounds of Source Brewing live casting for Lager Day. And it's a Saturday this year. Yeah, definitely going live on the 10th.
Exactly. So, but all right, yeah, we'll figure that out. But if we could figure some logistics out for the third, we could do that. I would love to do that. That'd be awesome to do that. So
Yeah,
we can put something together. All right.
maybe go up on the roof.
Yeah. Wow,
Yeah,
it's all weather dependent,
Of course.
Of course.
So, yeah, but sure, we can put you on the rooftop area, inside maybe outside, depends on the weather.
I guess you know what? There is the back patio. Nobody ever uses. I mean, not as quick as you, but it's private.
There you go.
We can figure it out for sure.
We could zero that music, so you don't have the rest of the sound. That would work.
We won't see much from back there, but
No, you won't.
No, you won't. Well, we're gonna put the scaffolding up so you can see. You'll be like 10, 20
there
feet.
you
Put the scaffolding above the building so you can see from the back over.
just get a crane and suspend us in the air
Yeah.
above the brewery.
I will just bring the stage that I built for Mini Kiss, and I'll put it up there for you guys.
There you go.
Okay?
That'll work.
You guys should
We could also be mobile too. We could go outside. We could walk around the town, come back into the brewery, down and then up to the rooftop.
Yeah, we've done the show.
I think we should do it.
We've done the show a couple of times.
Yeah.
Just holding our phones out here, wandering around, trying to not get too close.
We just did it a few weeks ago too in Montauk at Montauk Brewing.
Oh, really cool.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was a good day.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful day. It was like a mid-August day. That day we were out at Montauk too. So.
And the brewery was packed like it was me.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Oh,
Too.
nice.
We had like about 40 guests on the show that day.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Better.
All right,
Okay.
that's good. All right.
I'm sorry, I got lazy. I put my feet up. I'm tired. I'm like, it's been a long day.
You gave us a really weird angle there, Chris.
Oh, we had a good close up of your chest for a little bit there.
Oh, man, I've been working out.
Work out.
I gotta love it. All right, I think it's about time for the top three list. What do you think?
No shots.
You don't have to do them. You just have to talk.
Oh, I was gonna say the bottle's still here.
Really?
I mean, you can if you want, but you don't
Let's
have
do
to.
it.
So, all right,
No, I'm gonna
All
do
right.
12. One for each one of your top.
one for
three.
each. You do a shot for each one. Exactly.
No,
Yeah,
I have to work.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Quite the
No.
cabinet.
Not
All
a
right.
good.
All right, folks.
Enough in this
Folks,
bottle.
today is National Shot Day, so we figured that it would be totally apropos to have our top three list be top three favorite shots that we did in our 20s.
And the reason we went there is because getting into the beer world and all that, how often do you go to a bar and have shots anymore? No
Right.
one, no.
Yeah, I rarely. I mean, if I'm having any brown liquor or any liquor for that matter, it's in a drink,
Yeah.
a cocktail, or I'm sipping on it on the rocks.
I drink very few cocktails anymore, and most of my spirits I drink neat.
Mm-hmm. So, but I'm a rocks guy. He's a neat guy. He's very neat. He's neat. He's good.
Yeah, and some things.
Exactly. So in any
Big
event,
slob in others, but okay.
exactly. So, but in any event, tonight's again top three favorite shots we did in their 20s, in our 20s.
In
There
our
we go. We
20s?
should in our 20s. Actually, that was on the post, so I
Okay.
copied and pasted. We have to change that.
Oh, don't.
There we go. Top three favorite shots we did in our 20s. See, we have the technology.
He gets a little OCD sometimes with these things.
How to do it. So anyway, all right. Chris McLain, whichever of you want to go first, go for it. Who wants
Yeah,
to?
McLain, you ready? I
McLain.
kind of know what I want, what I remember. So you get it.
Yeah, I discovered mezcal, which you don't really shoot, but tequila's on there. Wild turkey, and we were still doing Jaeger back then.
Wow.
Shots of wild turkey.
Shots of Wild Turkey and
That's
Jaeger.
that's pretty badass right there.
I mean, I'm a brewer. I don't have a lot of money, right?
And mezcal, man, the Scotch and tequila.
The Scotch of
It
tequila.
was discovered. I mean, yeah, it was tequila. I mean, you're not really doing that back to the sipping.
Tony would be loving this list right now. So Tony.
But it's not Tony Drury. He's one of our regular guests. He lives out in far west Texas, right outside Big Bend National Park. And there's another. What is the other agave-based liquor that he drinks? Solar.
Yeah.
So he drinks Solar. So yeah, it's funny because you've got there's people that drink tequila. Cool. You drink mezcal. Wow. You drink Solar. That's the next level.
That's next level. Yeah. So mezcal, Wild Turkey, Jaeger. All right, Chris.
So I grew up, I'm a little, I've come from a different period of time than McLain, but I'm trying to think back, and I used to bartend in Bar A and also a bar called the Tides Cafe.
It's like a bar A in Belmont.
Yeah, and then the Tides was right down the street, right by
the Tides.
Yeah,
the Tides.
More
by the way, you know where I'm sitting right now in my house?
Where's that?
2.5 blocks from Bar A.
If there's a band playing, John can hear them.
I can hear it. I just sit outside and have a drink and listen to the band.
So I'm trying to think about when I was bartending back then, and I used to have the top floor of the Tides. That was my main gigs. I was the only bartender up there. We ran up the biggest sales they ever had up there. It was the biggest.
Probably not as many fights up there either.
No. It was actually no. On the top floor of the Tides, I never saw a fight once. Bar A might be different. The Tides, where I was, the top floor, completely different. So I'm trying to think it back now. I'm thinking what people are ordering. I'm thinking a Red Snapper might have been one. A Kamikaze might have been another one.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of what I remember. What I remember most about those, or what lack of remembering most in the early '90s, mid '90s, was a mind eraser. That was one shot that I remember. I swear, I think I don't know. I honestly, really.
But if you're doing a mind eraser right, it's not technically a shot.
Well, it's layered with 3 different layers. Let me think going back 20, 30 years.
It starts off with, and I told John earlier today, this is going to be my honorable mention because I don't consider it a shot. You layer it. It starts off with Kahlua on the bottom, vodka on top of that, and then club soda.
Soda, yeah.
And you put the straw down at the bottom, and you suck that thing up. And as soon as you start tasting the Kahlua, the vodka washes it out. As soon as you get to the point where you're almost going to retch on the vodka, the club soda washes that out.
Oh, it's amazing.
And then you pass out.
Or you think you pass out.
Then you just do a whole bunch of stupid stuff you don't remember. Yes.
Exactly.
My friend Kevin, I remember Kevin down the shore. He went in there. We did this. Went into his parents' closet and decided to take a leak right there. He didn't even remember what he did. Next day, they told him about it. Well, it happens. Okay. So,
this is what mind erasers do.
It is
in the name.
Yep.
So that's the 3 I can think of, So yeah, but we also, one of you guys mentioned earlier, shots earlier on. It went back to, or it led to a shot of JMO. JMO was pretty much a shot to go to shot. Or my lovely wife, she'll shoot. She used to like a little Jägermeister. So
there you go.
I like Jaeger. So
Jaeger bombs.
Yeah, no, not a Jaeger bomb.
That's a different thing.
That's a different thing.
All right, Samurai.
Well, he mentioned my honorable mention, and I wanted to bring that up because we would do this in college. We had this roommate, George. My college roommate and I, we were doing mind erasers. He wanted to do a mind eraser. So we made one for him, and he picks it up off the table. We're like, no, you're going to sit down and drink this. I'm like, no. You're going to get on all fours on the floor and drink this. Mm-hmm. Because his alcohol tolerance was so extremely low. And he didn't really have a mind eraser moment where he did stuff he doesn't remember because he drank it, looked up at us, smiled, and fell over and passed out. He was just done. So that was an honorable mention to mine because it's not really a shot. But the ones I remember from back in the day, so that aforementioned roommate of mine, Bill, him and that whole crew, we'd go out, and at some point during a night, one of them would just yell "woo woo,"
Woo.
and we did woo woos. And John, that's cranberry juice,
Peach schnapps and vodka.
peach schnapps, and vodka. So yeah, we would do woo woos. Once someone yelled woo woo, we were doing woo woos for the rest of the night. And it's like, how can you be manly and drink something called a woo woo all night? It's just my second one's a lot manlier. And I learned the potency of this drink at a place called, if you remember, Chris, the Polo Club.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
in what town? That was in
Neptune.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I was the head valet at the Polo Club, and one night we're done for the night. I'm downstairs.
Never mind.
I'm playing the Arkanoid machine down there, and I'm getting ready to beat the runners' high score. So what does he do? He has them bring me a shot of Red Death.
I've never heard of that.
So Red Death is full of all kinds of stuff. It's basically a slow, comfortable screw. So you got slow gin, Southern Comfort, and orange juice in there.
And vodka.
And vodka.
Always
vodka. Always vodka. Yeah. There was also grenadine, rum. What were some of the other things in that, John? There was something else. Galliano.
Galliano was in it.
Galliano. So this thing was brutal.
The Harvey
And
one.
So yeah, right. So I'm playing Arkanoid. I'm going to destroy his friggin' record because I've still got like 5 lives left, and I'm close to it. They hand me the shot. I do the shot. I hand it back to him. I didn't even come close to his record because it just I couldn't focus on anything after doing a Red Death. But I love it's such a dangerous shot because it's so tasty, but you don't realize how much is in this thing. But my number one that I remember from then is this same runner invented a drink, and he called it the Snot. And this thing was equal parts Midori, peach schnapps, and vodka. You put in the shaker with sour mix, and you shake this thing up. And when you poured it out, it was this sickly green color with foam on top of it. But it tasted just like a Jolly Rancher. Now, there is a shot called the Jolly Rancher, but that's the apple version of it. This was more like the watermelon version of a Jolly Rancher. These things went down very, very quickly and dangerously. So those are my top 3.
Mhm.
Johnny, yours.
All right. Well, I'll give an honorable mention to the Kamikaze. All right, because there were plenty of those back in the day.
All clear liquors and some lime.
Mm-hmm. I'll also give a honorable mention to one that I did have. I can't say it was on a regular basis because it was definitely on the tail end of my 20s, because we're talking about our 20s, right? So clearly your mind goes back to
Your stupid years?
20, 21, 22, right? My late 20s, I had kids, right? So, but in any event, there was a drink. There was a shot that came about. I was probably in my late 20s for it, and I did have a few of them.
Because of the kids?
Not because of the kids. No. Just I'd be out or whatever, and hey, we're going to do one of these. I'll try it. And I honestly can't tell you to this day why I did. I probably had maybe 4 or 5 of them ever. But I want to mention it because I want to bring it up, right? Because I did bring it up back in the day. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Right. So in any event, and that was I think it was called either liquid heroin or liquid cocaine. It was called. So that was this was Jägermeister, Rumpelmintz, and Goldschlager.
Oof.
Equal parts.
Yeah, that will definitely come back up.
Yeah, that came back.
Nasty.
So I just had to mention it, so I was in the honorable mention. But Kamikaze did my one. So we got Soko and Lime is my number 3. It's probably on the forefront of that becoming a shot that people like a go-to shot. Probably before it ever became like a go-to shot. It was definitely drinking a Soko and Lime, especially down the shore, down this way, and Jolly Rancher. You mentioned it before. Jolly Rancher shot that was big. But my number 1 shot that I had in my 20s, like it or not, and I don't right now, but I did, was Cuervo Gold.
Yeah, straight up. Yep.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, you can handle that straight up.
If you're talking about shots in my 20s, that's the one I did the most.
Mm.
good or bad. I remember when I was 22.
I'd be drinking with you.
I was 20 when I was 22. I was in Mexico. I was in Cancun, and me and one other guy, we finished a fifth of Cuervo Gold in shots, just the two of us all night in one club.
Oh God! Talk about not remembering anything.
Yeah,
that was a mind eraser in an episode.
That was a mind eraser, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's
And
got
I'll
poor
just-
decisions written all over.
I'll give you this really quick right now. It was probably about 3:30 in the morning. I was done. I was shot. Let's get back to the hotel. I got to go to sleep, right? Buddy of mine says, all right, we'll go, but hang on one second. Walks away. I'm like, where the hell are you going? He comes back with 2 beers. He comes back with 2 Dos Equis. He's like, drink this. It'll wake you up. I'm like, no, it won't. Let's go back. I'm done. He says, drink it. I don't know what happened, but power suggestion, whatever it was, it woke me up. So we had another beer after that, and we got out of there. I'm thinking it's like 4 a.m. We walk outside. It was 8:15 in the morning. We walked out of the club.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are the days. Can't do that anymore.
I was thinking about shots as we were talking about this. And I remember early on, we used to hang out at a bar called Davy's Locker in Montvale, New Jersey.
Davy's Locker in Montvale.
That was our hangout.
Sure.
And I had a friend, Bruce, and he always loved to get Sambuca. He'd always ask for a chilled buca. So they put the buca on ice, and they would, they'd chill it. So all of a sudden, when they're
it's white. It's white. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's white. So I remember that when we had that fair amount of those. And then, going back to bartending, there was something called was it a tequila sunrise, or that was a drink? Maybe that was
tequila sunrise was a drink.
Yeah.
It was a drink. So, and then the last story I'll tell on this real quick is going back to beginning of this podcast was a Harvey Wallbanger. My mom was not a drinker. Okay, that was not her thing.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad he liked his drinks. Okay, we'll say. So he makes her a few Harvey Wallbangers, and 3 days later she wakes up. I mean, I'm not kidding. We're talking 40, 50 years later now. We still talk about those Harvey Wallbangers.
Yeah.
So I love it.
It's a story, yeah, right? I mean, I've told the story I've said it a few times on the show. Really quick, I'll tell you. When I was, you know what? I'll tell you after the show. Go ahead, Dave. What were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say, he brought up Sambuca. One of the interesting ways I see Sambuca shots done is the flaming Sambuca shot.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a friend who was let's say he was a bit of an attention whore. So we're at the Sandpiper down, I think that's in Ortley Beach. No,
Sandpiper's
no, it's Chadwick.
It's not Chadwick Beach. It's
just north of Chadwick Beach. Anyway, it doesn't matter where it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I know his penchant for wanting attention.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm driving that night. So I order him a flaming shot of Sambuca. Now, he did it the right way. He'd take it, shoot the whole thing down, show everybody the glass is still on fire,
mm-hmm.
turn it upside down, and put it out on the bar.
Right.
So I kept ordering him these things until the point where he is absolutely friggin' trash. And he did something I don't think I'll ever see again. I brought him to his house. He had a long front yard. I pulled up at the curb. He crawls up the lawn. He gets to the front door, a couple steps up. He opens the screen door. He sits down. He's got his back up against the door with his knee holding the screen door open. And he's got his keys out, and he's going. And he keeps holding key after key up in front of his face. He must have gone through 20 keys, and there's only 3 keys on his key ring. Mm-hmm. And finally, he's like, okay. And then he just looks up at the keyhole. He's just looking at the keyhole. And he just goes, whoop, and puts the key in first shot and opens his door.
Hold on. In the dark, sober. I can't get
no one can do this. No one can do this.
Divine intervention there. Yeah.
Oh, and the best thing is he wakes up the next day, still drunk, has got to go to work, but he wakes up. For some reason, he's like, why am I sleeping on the floor? He's sleeping on the floor because he has puked all over the bed. Right. So he's like, so he gets up and he's like, puts his hand through his hair and it crunches. because he's got dried vomit in his hair.
Lovely.
Nasty.
He's telling me this story. He's like, "Yeah, my mother hates you right now." I'm like, "Then my job here is done, and I will toast my old friend Vin on this one."
There you go.
You know, I got to tell you one
Toast to
story
Vin.
about a shot, and so I'm going to grad school down in Atlanta, and my buddy Kenny calls me. I just get there. He's like, "Ken, let me show you down. Chris, let me show you downtown Atlanta." Okay, that's great. So we go down there, and Ken's like, "We got to go out. We'll do. We'll have some drinks. I'm going to take you to this bar and that bar and this bar." This is in 1990, early 90s, 90, no, mid 90s, 95 maybe, and. So he's a single guy. He's like, let's do some shots. I'm like, okay. He's going to meet some girls. He's excited, right? So he decides to do a shot called the Statue of Liberty. And I've never heard of
Liberty.
I've never heard of this one.
This is a guy. He's, got a nice big goatee. He's a tough-looking guy, right, Kenny? So what it is, I think it's just a shot of 151 rum. You light it on fire, or you put your finger in it, and you put your finger up there in the air, and some way you're mimicking the Statue of Liberty. Anyway, it all goes wrong.
Oh, God.
He does this shot. He lights it. It gets lit. He shoots the shot. His goatee goes on fire. This is true. Okay, and you gotta put him out like this. So I think that's the end of it. He's like, I gotta go to the drugstore or something. I'm in pain. Now, remember, I told you this is a single guy. So he goes to the drugstore. 10 minutes, 15 minutes later, he comes back. He puts all this he puts this ointment he puts on his face where he's burnt. I mean, I don't know, it's a first-degree burn he has on his face now.
So he's got it's like he's got a bad sunburn basically on his face. At this point, right?
It was hotter than that. So anyway, this is the bad part. So now we're hanging out. He's talking to some women. He's got this lotion on his face, this ointment. It's not just sitting there. It's melting and dripping off his body. It's dripping down. I'm like, Ken, you gotta go. You gotta do something. Put a towel on yourself. This is horrible. So that was our Statue of Liberty shot.
That's the Statue of Liberty. Right. Remind me not to do a Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, if you have facial hair, don't do flaming shots.
I'm good.
Not a good time. So.
I grew up in the fire service, and it was just one gentleman, God rest his soul, actually, but he actually flaming shots. You mentioned Zambuca before. Flaming shots of Zambuca. One guy told him, "Oh, you got to shoot it while it's still on fire. Don't blow it out and shoot it. You got to shoot it while it's still on fire." He burned half his mustache off.
Yeah, I've never done a flaming shot of Sambuca my whole life. We've always chilled it. We went the opposite end. So
That's the way it should be done. But for those who like attention,
experiment.
They set it on fire. And to my friend's credit, he knew how to do it, and he put on a show. But I used that against him to get him completely wrecked.
There you go.
As friends do to one another.
Absolutely. Gotta love it. All right. What's 2023 looking like for Five Dimes right now?
Well, I tell you,
event-wise, beer-wise, stuff in the hopper, stuff like that.
Yeah, I'll talk about a brief little thing here, and then let McLain go into the beer here. So I think it's just going to be a good year. I think we have we build off the first year. 2023 is we're still in our first year.
Sure.
Okay. So we got to focus on just putting out great products, and I think we've done it so far. We don't want to go far from where we are, and I think I'm very happy and content with the product we have, and the facility we have, and the staff we have. So I think we're in a good place. I think we just stay, the status quo, just keep building on it, and just a little bit more here and there. But that's it. McLain's, he's the brains of the whole operation. So, he's the one. So
more muscle.
He's the muscle.
The muscle. There you go. He's got both earpieces on. So
yep, yes, he does.
Yeah, he did. So
we got some. Sorry, I was going to talk about the new beer we have coming later in the year, which is the One Louder, which is it's an 11%er. So you've seen this show Spinal Tap.
Yeah,
So
these go to
So
11.
that one goes to 11. I got you.
But this is
11%. So we're gonna come up. That'll be end of the year, beginning of next year. We're gonna put one of those out there. But aside
But why not just call it 10 and make 10 louder?
no, it's 11. Well, you see, it's one louder.
One louder. It's one
It's
louder.
one louder.
Right.
McLain, all yours, brother.
I was just gonna say I look forward to more cold storage space.
Yeah,
And if you're
Hold on. Don't we all? Yeah.
And McLain,
I'm dreaming, I know.
If your Pilsner is any indication of what you're going to do with that cold storage space, I'm behind you on this one.
There you go.
And I am behind too. I had a great place right next to the brewery, but the town said it's not designed for storage. So right next to the brewery too. That's all I got to say.
Gotcha. Yeah. All right. What's the style of one louder? I got to know this.
McLain, what are you thinking?
Oh, barley wine.
Yeah.
We got no room for barrels, but we can still make a decent American barley wine, right?
You can put a barrel anywhere.
You can put
Come check out the basement. You tell me where you find this
It's
spot.
going up.
Hey.
You got a patio. You said there's a patio no one uses.
Get creative. It's a furniture piece, right?
There you go.
All right.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's people sticking their nose in this. The characters we get in here.
You're
Like
gonna
you
have
said,
to,
people are moving in like it is their living room. That's the clientele we get.
you put barrels, you stack the barrels in the tasting room, and people are gonna be like,
Yeah, tell me. How
With
do
the
you think
barrels
you're
in the
gonna get it
background.
down? Where's that barrel go once it's there?
You gotta love it.
We'll see.
Great.
We'll see what we can do.
Okay. So it's gonna be an American barley wine then. You do like 11% American
Hops.
barley.
Yeah, we like hops.
Little hoppy, little hop forward kind of thing. Good, cool, nice, very nice, beautiful. All right, all right. Well, look, we will definitely put together this December 3rd thing.
yeah, we gotta look
Look
at
That's
that.
for certain.
forward to it, yeah.
We will definitely. I'll see you in a week from Friday. I'll be up there, but
Make sure you
we'll
let me
definitely
know.
put this.
Let me know. Yeah, for
I
sure.
will let both of you know. But I'll definitely be up there. I'll be up there. Yeah, probably like 2-ish on the 18th, on Friday the 18th.
You
But
gotta,
we'll
you gotta do it while I'm working. I could have met you up there.
I got, timing is what it is. Take a half a day. Take a half a day.
No, I'm deep in my shit. It's the holidays.
I'm aware of that, so we'll do it on the 3rd. So we'll do what's the. I'm only gonna have an hour there anyway because I got to go somewhere. So, but anyway,
Well, I'll get up there another time.
you got it. But we'll be there on the we'll be there on the 3rd. So we'll be there on the 3rd. So
Sounds great.
we'll put that together and we'll post anything coming up. Let us know. We'll shoot it out on our social media as well for you as well. So, all right. Look, thank you so much for coming on tonight. It's been a great show. Really, it's been a great show.
Been a lot of
Really
fun.
appreciate it. Had a lot of fun on the show. Hope you did too.
I enjoyed it.
We'll do the outro now. We'll wrap the show for today. We want to thank everybody for watching.
I don't know.
You don't have to do it today.
No,
You
I'm
don't
not
have to do
doing
it today. Don't do it today. So.
One of these days, I'm going to have one of these full of beer, and I'm going to race him to see if I can finish a liter of beer before he finishes the outro. So hold on, John. Before you start, you're going to restart, and I'm going to actually time it so I know what I've got to aim.
So you know what you got to aim for. There you go. All right.
Yeah, okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready. All right. So
Okay,
we will wrap
ready?
it.
Ready?
Go ahead.
Go.
You tell me. All right. I will wrap the show up for today. We want to thank everybody for watching. And for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thanks for listening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.lagerroom.com. That's LAGERROOM.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course our YouTube channel. All of them are at The Lager Room. Remember, we go live with the video podcast on both Facebook and YouTube every Tuesday night around 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. And for those of you that, it's around 7 o'clock, it's around, so it's fine. For those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music Podcasts, and iHeartRadio as well. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds and you will never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Guys, Chris, McLain, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It was amazing. I had a great time. I know Dave did. I hope you guys did. This was a wonderful show. We will talk to you soon. We will talk to you on December 3rd and have a wonderful week. Drink a lot of beer.
Prior to that, to arrange it.
Thanks for having us, guys. Really
Absolutely.
appreciate it.
Oh,
We
no.
appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on.
Absolutely. Drink a lot of beer, guys, but drink responsibly, and we will talk to you soon. Take care.
Well,
Cheers.
So it depends on what we consider the end of the outro. If it's you drink a lot of beer, but drink responsibly. Then I've got about a minute to finish a liter. Otherwise,
it's a lot. It's a lot.
that's a lot.
How cold is it? It can be real cold, or
Well, it depends. And you've got a great point there because I did a 3-liter boot challenge once, and the person what he had on his kegerator at the time to do the boot challenge was a beer that I consider a little overcarbonated.
Right.
And I told him if we use this particular beer, you're going to have people throwing up foam. And his brother had foam coming out of every orifice of his body. Trying to do this, and it took us. He thought he could do this under 5 minutes. There's no way. You're going to remember every time that you drink, you need to belch, get rid of that gas. His brother did not listen to the advice and just ran to the bathroom. There's his nose and mouth have just nothing but foam coming out of it. It was awesome. But
it was awesome.
Oh, it was awesome because it wasn't happening to me.
This is all part of the outro, folks.
So that was about 3 minutes. But it was so yeah, it really depends on what's in that. So I'm gonna have to pick something not quite carbonated.
I understand that. Every we have a Christmas party every year, and not aside from the brewery, and we have a boot there, and we pass the boot around. It's a tradition for me. I played rugby for many years, so rugby player.
But you used a real cleat for that.
We use a boot. We use a boot. Yeah,
wait a second. This is what now? What Eric from Angry Eric was a rugby player. So
I got to meet him then.
Yeah, we got this kind of the same story about drinking out of a cleat.
Yeah, so no, we called it a boot. We're not a cleat, a boot. It's a rugby boot. Yeah, so we put a boot in there, and it goes from a point where rugby players like to sing. They sing songs, right? And if you mess up, and you sing, and everyone knows the songs, and if you mess up the song, what happens is one of the ruggers takes off their boot. You fill it up with beer, and I'm not going to say what else might go into the boot. And that person has to down that whole boot. I'm talking about at my Christmas party, a glass boot. Okay,
yes,
so it's a little different now as I've gotten older and understand, what you put in your body actually might make a difference here and there. So that's the boot. So yeah.
There you go.
Fair enough. Anyway. All right. Well, like I said, drink a lot of beer, but drink responsibly, folks. And we will talk to you soon. Take care.
Cheers.
See you next week. Cheers.
Chris McLain, thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you,
Thank you,
guys.
guys.
Awesome, guys.
Thank you.